Part 1. It was a cold, restless night when Emily arrived at the elegant downtown loft that she shared with her fiance, the renowned actor Nathan Cole. Emily's heart, usually full of hope and excitement for their future, was suddenly gripped by an eerie silence that clung to the air like a warning. As she stepped into the apartment, a space usually warm with the laughter and chatter of Nathan's lively personality, the stillness left her trembling with a sense of dread she could not quite explain. Every piece of furniture and every shadow in the corners of the room seemed to whisper secrets of a violent night, a night that would shatter her world. In a moment that felt both surreal and excruciatingly real, she discovered her beloved lying, motionless on the floor. The sight was too horrific for words. Nathan, whose vibrant life once lit up every room he entered, now lay as a tragic figure, his life cruelly stolen. The forensic experts later confirmed a chilling truth. Nathan had been strangled with a pillow, the very object that had once comforted him during quiet moments. Before that final act, he had suffered savage blows to his head and been beaten with a brutality that defied human understanding. Every detail of the crime scene painted a picture of ferocity and calculated malice, leaving Emily questioning how someone so close to their world could harbor such darkness. Even more perplexing was the fact that nothing appeared to be missing from the apartment, except for one item that held deep sentimental value to Nathan. An ancient chronometer, a cherished relic passed down from his father, was nowhere to be found. Its absence felt intentional, like a deliberate piece removed from a puzzle that held the key to his mysterious demise. In the silent, disordered space where traces of the struggle still lingered, the missing heirloom became a sinister marker for the crime. Rumors and early fragments of evidence soon pointed to two intriguing figures. One was Jack Carter, a shadowy presence from Nathan's past with a murky past of his own, a man who once had the misfortune of crossing paths with the late actor. The other suspect was Jessica Monroe, an alluring and complicated former flame whose passionate and tempestuous romance with Nathan had ended in bitter conflicts and passionate threats. As whispered secrets and suspicious footprints were unearthed from the scene, it became apparent that both individuals had stepped into his life under circumstances as unpredictable as they were dangerous. Even now, in the glimmer of fading streetlights that slithered through the gaps in heavy curtains, every detail hinted at deeper secrets. The room still pulsed with unanswered questions. Who had the motive to commit such a cold and calculated act of violence? And what dark ties connected them to that treasured chronometer now lost to the shadows of the past? As investigators combed through each piece of evidence and every memory of a fleeting conversation, one more twist emerged from the depths, an enigma that none could have anticipated. Part 2. As investigators dug deeper into the case, the sordid layers of deception and betrayal began to unravel with alarming precision. Detectives pieced together that Nathan had recently entertained two enigmatic visitors, a man with a notorious past and a captivating woman whose beauty belied a fierceness that bordered on dangerous. Jack Carter, a man whose checkered history as a reformed criminal was well known, yet shrouded in mystery, had long been a figure of intrigue in Nathan's life. His unexpected appearance at the apartment only deepened suspicions, as his presence hinted at unsettled scores and shadowy allegiances. Meanwhile, Jessica Monroe, whose tempestuous relationship with Nathan had roiled the local social circles, emerged as a prime suspect. Despite her defiant denials and the glamorous facade she maintained, the intensity of her previous quarrels with Nathan and her sudden visit on that fateful night could not be easily dismissed. Her connection with the victim, marked by passion and strife, left law enforcement questioning whether shrouded emotions had led her to commit the unthinkable act. Adding to the perplexity of the investigation was an unexpected twist that seemed to leap out of a noir thriller. Amid the chaos of conflicting accounts and elusive motives, forensic specialists uncovered traces of an indulgence that at first glance appeared wholly innocuous. A meticulously curated stamp collection cherished by Nathan. Unlike other trivial hobbies, this collection was extraordinary in its scope and detail, comprising rare stamps inherited from his father, each envelope carrying its own quiet tale of heritage and intrigue. Within the chaos, a glaring anomaly emerged. The most extraordinary stamp of the collection was missing. With every corner of the apartment scoured, it became clear that the absence of this prized relic signified more than mere misfortune. It hinted at a calculated act of plunder. The implications were as bewildering as they were unsettling. Had someone targeted Nathan not only for personal vendettas, but to reach for a prized family legacy? Could the missing stamp represent a silent clue leading to a broader puzzle? As the investigation shifted its focus from personal vendettas to the intricacies of the cherished collection, a spark of realization touched the minds of the detectives. They began to theorize that the true culprit might have been less interested in settling old scores and more drawn to the allure of precious artifacts, an individual whose hidden passion for philately masked a dangerous willingness to commit heinous acts. In the midst of controlled chaos, whispers circulated about an influential figure from a prestigious American stamp association who may have had ties to underground art smuggling and rare collectibles trafficking. This revelation, unsettling in its implications, lent an entirely new dimension to the case. Amidst conflicting narratives, one thing was clear. The investigation was no longer confined to a simple tale of love gone tragically wrong. Instead, it had morphed into an intricate dance of high stakes, a battle between shadowy figures entangled in secrets, deception, and the quietly ferocious world of prized collectibles. As the city's neon lights flickered against rain-soaked streets, the investigators found themselves drawn ever deeper into a labyrinth of clues and suspects. Each new piece of evidence unraveled additional layers of mystery, asking questions that challenged conventional wisdom. Who among them truly harbored the dark intent to commit such violence? And could it be that the missing relic of Nathan's heritage was the key to exposing a conspiracy that stretched far beyond personal vendettas? With every revelation, the trail grew colder, and yet somehow even more exhilarating. A siren call for truth in a city where shadows whispered secrets at every turn. Part 3. In the wake of these shocking revelations, the investigation took on a feverish pace. Detectives found themselves chasing whispers and elusive leads, each new clue deepening the interwoven mysteries surrounding Nathan's murder. The city's underbelly came sharply into focus, a world where powerful collectors and shady figures exchanged secrets in hushed tones, and where the value of artifacts could drive a man to unspeakable acts. Amid this turmoil, a breakthrough emerged when an expert in collectible memorabilia stepped forward, drawn in by the missing stamp's notorious reputation. He detailed a clandestine network of high-stakes collectors whose obsession with rare items often led to desperate measures. His testimony hinted that the coveted stamp might have been more than just a sentimental heirloom. It could have been the messenger of unsavory deals and forbidden transactions that connected the highest echelons of underground trade. As these startling connections unfolded, the investigation began to reveal how deeply intertwined Nathan's legacy was with a dangerous subculture. Rumors began to circulate that his death might have been orchestrated by an individual whose motivations went far beyond interpersonal vendettas. This shadowy figure, whose identity remained shrouded in mystery, seemed to operate at the crossroads of passion, greed, and revenge, a nexus where personal betrayal intersected with the darker realms of criminal enterprise. The detectives, racing against time, pieced together evidence that suggested Nathan's once-beloved chronometer and his meticulously curated stamp collection were not mere relics of a bygone era, but were instead keys that unlocked an entire world of illicit transactions. As they connected the dots between the luxurious world of high-end collectibles and the precarious alliances born of desperation, every suspect took on a new, perplexing dimension. Jack Carter's murky past and Jessica Monroe's fierce loyalty now began to look like mere distractions, crafted to conceal the true mastermind from prying eyes. The deep undercurrents of greed and ambition that had quietly seeped into the investigation hinted that even the most seemingly unrelated figures might have played their part. In the labyrinth of twisted motives and dangerous liaisons, every whispered conversation, every furtive glance, and every subtle gesture was reinterpreted under the microscope of emerging evidence. As the detectives gathered in a dimly lit interrogation room, the weight of the case pressed upon them. They realized that deciphering this tangled web might not only bring justice for Nathan, but could also expose the dark undercurrents ruthlessly driving a notorious segment of American society. With every piece of shredded paper and every inconspicuous footprint in the apartment, the question grew louder. Was this an orchestrated plan designed to deflect attention? Or was it the reckoning of a man forced to confront the insidious lure of power and wealth? On a stormy night, as the relentless patter of rain mingled with the murmurs of interrogation, the detectives were left with a final, haunting mystery. Could the secret behind a stolen piece of history be the key to exposing an entire underground empire? As the investigation reached a fevered pitch, viewers are left to ponder this gripping enigma. Who, in the shadows of America's glittering facade, truly holds the power to shape fate and decide the course of justice?